Welcome to PALCS video series, Winging It.
My name's Sarah.
And my name is Zealand.
And we're sitting down with PALCS staff, students, and alumni to learn more from and about the PALCS community.
And we're here to answer your questions, provide you with fun announcements, and dig deeper with the people who make PALCS possible.
Let's get into it. Today we are interviewing Miss Ashley Redcay. She's our middle school social studies teacher.
Hi, Ashley. Welcome. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. We have a few questions for you. Are you ready?
I am totally ready.
Great. Let's get into it. So how long have you been a teacher at PALCS?
So this is my second year at PALCS. I started last year in September.
Oh, wow. So this last school year, 2019-2020, was your first school year?
Yes, as a full-time social studies teacher. Yep.
And how do you like it so far?
Yeah.
I love it here. PALCS is so accommodating and amazing to work with. I love working with the staff. The kids are amazing. I really just love the entire environment we have here at PALCS. It's so different from even a lot of cyber schools that you usually experience. There's more of a community here than you would ever experience elsewhere. So I think that's such an amazing part of what makes PALCS unique and what makes PALCS overall an amazing school to work for.
Yeah, so I understand that you used to be a cyber school student. Can you tell us a little bit about that and your experience with that?
Yeah, so I was bullied a lot when I went into elementary school. I moved into a district right about third grade. And so I was trying to make new friends, and I ended up making friends with some of the kids that weren't part of the popular crowd. And so the kids teased me. And after 3 years of being in that brick and mortar public school, between the teasing and not really being challenged academically, my parents decided it was time to look for other options that would allow me to work at my own pace and took me out of that kind of toxic environment I was in. And it was actually right about 2005 when I went into cyber school. So it was a brand new concept when I first went into the cyber school setting. It was fairly new within the first 3 years. And, you know, I've experienced a lot of different types of schools. I've been to a public school. I went to an all-girls private school. I went to a, private, more religious school, been homeschooled, and I've attended cyber school. And by far my favorite experience was my cyber school. It allows you to go at your own pace, but I also had that support of a teacher who could answer questions if I ever had them. Not that I utilized them as much as I probably should. I mean, students tend to not think through, I have someone who I can go to ask these questions. And so I definitely could have used those teachers more. But I was free to express myself in ways I was not allowed to in public school. And my parents had more control over who I was interacting with and what I was exposed to socially. They had more control over, who I was working with. And because I was in cyber school, I had that flexible schedule. It allowed me to do things that I wasn't able to do if I were in a brick and mortar. For example, I was part of a homeschool co-op, and I was introduced to a lot of different classes. That's actually where I was introduced to Irish dancing, and that led to an albeit short period of time where I was a competitive Irish dancer.
That also so cool.
Yeah, it also gave me the opportunity to branch out and learn some new things. I was able to learn to crochet, participate in dramas, and do other things that made me a more rounded person. I was able to participate in my local 4-H club and raise rabbits for a time, which gave me that really rich experience that I definitely would not have had were I in that brick and mortar setting. And then when I was in high school, that flexibility transferred into allowing me to, work at a job when other employees couldn't, which made me a more, desirable employee. And it was really through this school that I fell in love with history. And it's really that started me on that path towards becoming a history teacher.
Have you ever taught in a brick and mortar school?
I did. I was a long-term substitute for 8th grade for about a year and a half. I also did a small stint as an in-school suspension and detention monitor in brick and mortar. And so I did have that experience as well.
So do you definitely prefer working for a cyber school over the brick and mortar setting?
I do. And it's because, we have so many more resources at our fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
And also at the same time, we don't have all that extra, almost wasted time spent, between moving between classrooms and trying to get resources out and, trying to settle everybody down.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of time is wasted in procedural stuff in brick and mortar schools that we don't have. And so we have a lot more time to focus on actually working with the students.
That's great. That's awesome. So you said that your time in cyber school yourself is what got you interested initially in social studies.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of classes were those that piqued your interest so much that really set you down a professional path to pursue
Right.
that?
Well, I actually remember the very moment I fell in love with history. I was in 7th grade, world history, and I was sitting down on my couch and I was reading my textbook. And we were learning about ancient Egypt at the time. And they were talking about this, they were talking about the Israelites and how there was these 10 plagues of, Egypt and the whole Exodus story. And they actually said, there's this theory out there that each of the 10 plagues correlates or matches with one of the gods of Egypt. And I remember thinking, wow, that is just like mind-boggling. That is so interesting. Why don't we talk about this more? Why don't we do more with this? And it really led to a fascination with Egypt and with history in general, to see all that connecting, because history is so interconnected. And you can't have just a singular world view. It has so much context to it, and it has so many different causes all coming to a single event that, really pushes off into multiple more events. And so it really was that course and that textbook and those things that I was seeing, that I was really realizing how interconnected the world was. And it really just invigorated me, because I wanted to learn more. I wanted to see more. I wanted to catch every single cause and every single effect and put it all together, because it was such a meta narrative of world history, and it's why we're here today. And so that just blew my mind, and it's been ever since then that I've loved history.
That's amazing. So, Ashley, what do you do when you're not creating these amazing lessons and getting the students involved in social studies? What are some of the things you do in your free time?
Yeah, so I love to, exercise. I'm very big on, working out. I live with my family, so we tend to watch, a lot of Hulu and things like that, watching TV. But I also do play piano for for our worship team, and I'm actually going to be performing this month for an international conference.
That's incredible.
Televised international conference. So that's one thing that I do when I'm not teaching. But truthfully, there's a lot of times where even, I'll be watching TV and I'm still looking through Pinterest for, ideas to implement into my lessons. And, I'm super invested in education in general. So I find it's very difficult I had to think through this question, because I was like, wait, when am I not teaching?
Yeah.
I'm not thinking through these things. But there's definitely some time that, I play piano and I crochet and I do some other things like that. So,
well, Ashley, if I could ask you one more question, since it is the month of November and we do have Thanksgiving at the end of the month, what are one of the things that you are thankful for that you would like to share with us?
well, very first of all, and I don't mean this in any way to sound, brown nosing or anything like that. But first of all, I'm thankful for PALCS. Truthfully, I don't know where I'd be if I wasn't teaching here. Doors kept on opening that I didn't even think would be possible. I'm just so grateful to be here at PALCS, because it is such an amazing environment. I'm grateful for all of my students. They work so hard, and I get to see all of their amazing creations. And so I'm super excited. I'm super thankful for my students. I'm thankful for being able to have, a great family that supports me, and being here is just an adventure every step of the way. And I'm super thankful for that as well.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ashley.
Thank you for having me.
All right,
Thanks for being
bye.
with
Bye.
us. See ya.
Yeah.
Go
Well,
ahead.
she was awesome. That was so much fun. I feel like I learned so much from her
And
about
so
her.
inspiring. She literally takes every moment of her day with intention and just kind of lives it for what she wants to do, what she's passionate about. She's always reaching out into her community. It's really incredible.
Yeah, and you can tell how passionate she is about teaching in her class and, you know, connecting her cyber experience to her students' cyber experience.
I think it probably helps her relate to her students more, and I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thanks, Sarah. This has been a really fun episode together.
It has been. Thanks for watching Winging It.
We'll see you
See
next
you next
time.
time. Bye.
Bye.